Hey, what's up, everybody? So the big question on the street right now is why are so few people buying houses right this second? And when I say that, it kind of brings to mind the fact of what I've been echoing the entire time about this situation that 2025 is going to go down. I mark my words. 2025 will go down as one of the greatest years to ever be a real estate agent. Right now is the best time to be a real estate agent. So that's what I want to cover in this video today. I want to share with you guys some data. I want to dig into some data. I also want to share with you three things. I'm going to give you three things that you can do right now to start taking advantage of the massive opportunity that's right in front of you, happening right before your very eyes. I want to shed light on what this opportunity is today for you so that you can see it nice and clear. And at the very end, of course, I'm going to give you one word that will change everything for you if you will just do this one thing. All right. So that's what I want to get into today. Let's before I do all that, let's dive into the market. We just got the home sales report out. April home sales dropped to the lowest pace for that month since 2009. Home sales fell in April as consumers faced high house prices and growing concern over the economy and employment. Okay. Lawrence Yun, the chief economist of NAR, home sales have been at 75% of normal or pre-pandemic activity for the past 3 years, even with 7 million jobs added to the economy. The median price of an existing home sold in April was $414,000, an increase of just 1.8% year over year. It's funny that they say, just an increase of just 1.8%, right? Because like an increase of 1.8%, I mean, that's good. To me, that's good. That's kind of normal. But I thought there were some things in here that was very interesting. The spring housing market continues to struggle amid high interest rates and low consumer confidence. Okay. Sales of previously owned homes in April declined 0.5% from March to a seasonally adjusted annualized rate of 4 million units, which means at this pace, we'll sell 4 million existing homes this year. That's according to NAR. Sales were down 2% from April of last year. Okay. So home sales were down 2% from April of last year. That's not like crazy. But when you think about, if anything, if you ever see data that says we're down to 2009 levels, okay, and we're literally, getting close to 20 years ago, then that's not good. That's considered a crash, in my opinion, if we're 20 years behind. Housing economists were expecting a gain of 2.7. So they were expecting a gain of 2.7% on home sales, but they were down 2%. Okay. This counts based on closings, meaning contracts that were likely signed in February and March before mortgage rates moved higher in April. Home sales have been at 75%, even though 7 million jobs have been added. Okay. Here's what I thought was interesting. Pent-up housing demand continues to grow. This is what I've been talking about the whole time, is that the longer the market's down, the larger this pent-up demand pool of buyers and sellers continues to grow. So when you think about like market cycles and surges and drop-offs, etc., every time the market slows down, that does nothing but build demand, because it's not like people just quit wanting to buy houses. The desire to want a house continues to be there. Just because of the fact that things happen economically that prevented people from buying houses doesn't mean people don't want to buy houses. People who want to buy houses is literally the definition of pent-up demand. It's people who want to buy a home but can't buy it right now. And as the market rebounds and reverses the other way, which it does 110% of the time, by the way, all this pent-up demand, guess what? It comes to the market at the same time. And now this backlog of buyers and sellers hit the market like a tsunami. This is what is going to happen. We know that this is going to happen. I'll share some more data with you to prove that to you. But he says here the pent-up housing demand continues to grow, though not realized. Any meaningful decline in mortgage rates will help release this demand. We're literally This has everything to do with mortgage rates right this second. It's very mortgage rate sensitive market. Okay. Inventory jumped 9% month to month. So we're back to, and I'll show you right here, we're literally back to a post-pandemic high when it comes to inventory. Inventory has reached a post-pandemic high. Here's the chart right here. This shows you exactly where we are, and we're at a high post-pandemic. We're not quite back where we were pre-pandemic, but we have crossed into a new high post-pandemic. There were 1.45 million homes for sale at the end of April, which is a current sales pace, represents a 4.4 months of supply. Now, in my market for condos, we're at a 14-month supply of condos. That's an extreme buyer's market. I looked in Miami just a minute ago. They are at 11 months of inventory, and that's not even like taking out like a specific niche. Like I'm talking about condos on the beach that nobody needs here in my market. Like I'm talking about the whole area. Actually, I'll show you. Let's see. It's right here. Let's see. Home sold, median price, days to close. Let's see. Age of inventory, months of supply. Here we go. Look at this. Look at that. 11 months of supply. That's an extreme buyer's market. Okay, that's an extreme buyer's market. Now, let's move over to new home sales, because I thought this was really interesting. How do I get that ad up out of there, dude? They really got that in there. So U.S. housing market may be facing a correction. Okay, so they're talking about new home sales here. The number of U.S. homes on the market in April reached more. Yeah, that ad is wild. Anyway, reached more than 30% from a year earlier. At the same time, monthly home sales declined 3.2% year over year. Okay, so you got more inventory, less sales. These contradictory statistics are the latest sign that the U.S. housing market may be headed for a correction, according to analysts by First American Properties, a real estate investment and development company. First American found that home prices in the U.S. have retreated from their peak in 47 of the nation's largest metro areas, including San Francisco in the West and the Sun Belt's Austin, Texas, where both cities have seen home prices fall nearly 10%. Southeast, which has been a high growth area in recent years, is also seeing prices fall, with many cities down near 10% from its peaks. U.S. housing market is no longer in the high-flying territory we've seen over the past few years. This is the CEO of First American Properties. What we're seeing now, particularly with rising inventory and declining pending sales, are the early signs of a correction already playing in several markets. What I found interesting, if I can find the data here, I thought it was in this article, was that prices on new construction homes have been falling for 8 months in a row. Okay. The gap price between new and existing homes has also narrowed from an average of $64,000 in the fourth quarter of 2022 to just $14,000 in the first quarter of 2025. So the price of a new home and an existing home are like, the gap is getting smaller and smaller, whereas it's like, you might as well, I mean, you can kind of go either way. And that's not even factoring in the rate buy downs, closing cost credits, or other buyer incentives that are not apparent in the purchase price. The gap may disappear altogether. Here it is. According to the National Association of Home Builders, new home prices have declined year over year for 8 consecutive quarters. Guys, I've been talking about this one too, that new construction should be the play. Like, that's the best deal in town. You got home prices for new construction dropping 8 months in a row. You got incentives, you got rate buy downs, you got closing costs, you got blinds and appliances and all kinds of things that make this very attractive for a buyer. Now, you know, if you do my strategy, the trade up seller strategy, where you're calling homeowners that own older properties and saying, hey, would you like a new home? It's like, you don't care if they buy the new home or not. Now you're in a conversation with this person about what they want to do. You're not trying to get them to do the new construction. You're trying to use the new construction as a way to communicate with them to begin a relationship. That's how business works. You create a friendship, you transition that into a business relationship, and now you're serving them based on whatever it is that they want to do, which, by the way, might not be anything right now. And that's okay, because you're building a massive career. You're going to find people that want to do deals now, and especially right now with the market being the way it is and being really low sell. Look, the name of the game right now, guys, is not how many deals we're going to close. It's how many people can we get to know who we are that didn't know us before. That's the name of the game right now. We're going to close deals. And by the way, don't focus on chasing deals, trying to close deals. Focus on situations. Switch your focus from deals to situations. You're looking for situations. You're looking for people who need to do this because of that, who want to do that because of this, whose daughter's graduating and wants to downsize, who lost a job and got rehired over here. You need to find situations you're working on. Through finding situations that people are in that cause them to need to buy or sell a piece of property, a byproduct of you chasing situations will be you closing deals. So if you can just focus on finding situations that you can help people through and serve them through those situations, you'll close a lot of deals. But if you focus on just the deal, guess what? Chances are you're not going to close that many deals. New construction has been a play the entire time. And I'll give you another one. If prices continue to soften, what you need to do is go into data, go into REDX, go into your MLS, go into your county records, and find those second home investment properties of people who bought the properties within the last 2 years, who probably paid more than what they're going for now. And ask them, do they want to buy this one that's cheaper than what they just bought? If they bought it at this price, surely they want another one for this price. Chances are fairly good. But even if they don't, guess what? Now you're in a conversation with a new potential future client. You can't lose in this business. The only way you lose is if you let the market dictate your actions. If you lay down and say, okay, the market is bad. What's the use? Why should I do anything? Why should I make calls? Why should I do social? Why should I send letters? Why should I do anything? If you let the market dictate what you do on a day-to-day, then yeah, you're going to fail. The market has nothing to do with your success. You should be focused on finding situations to help people through. And guess what? People have situations regardless of what the market's doing. That's why closings happen every day forever, regardless of market conditions. Okay, so getting back to the data, we're post-pandemic high inventory. New construction homes prices are down year over year for 8 months in a row. Home sales are down to 2009 levels. This is literally the perfect storm. This is the perfect storm. I'll tell you why, because, and I'm going to give you some more data. This is the perfect storm for you and for buyers, honestly. And for sellers too, because it's not going to crash. Prices may soften some, but here's the kicker. Prices are starting to soften. Inventory is up to post-pandemic highs. As this continues, and I'll show you in a second why there's so much, a proof that there's pent-up demand. Once mortgage rates come down to say 6.5, 6.2, you ain't got to get down all the way to 6. You're going to see a tsunami of buyers hit the market, and they're going to be entering into a market with A, more inventory, and B, more than likely better prices depending on your market. That is a perfect storm, ladies and gentlemen. So listen, we know what's going to happen for a fact. We're not guessing. We know what's going to happen. It's right in front of us. The question is, what are we going to do about it to take advantage of this situation? Okay. So talking about mortgage rates right here. Okay. Do you guys remember Liberation Day when Trump came out April 2nd and said, here's going to be the tariffs? He had the chart and everything. You remember the stock market crashing during that moment? You remember how scared everyone was economically? You remember how much uncertainty was just everywhere? It was rampant. I mean, the stock market went down quite a bit. It was bear. It was literally right at the brink of correction territory. Actually, was a kind of like a for a fraction of a moment was kind of a correction. Well, listen to this. 24 hours after he announced the tariffs, mortgage rates, because money flowed out of stocks and into bonds. Okay, so the the 10-year treasury, which is what it maps the mortgage, the 30-year mortgage rate. You know, like I could get into why that is, but that maps the 30-year mortgage rate. And so it dropped because money was flowing into bonds. And so for temporarily, this was literally a 24-hour period, we saw mortgage rates drop just 15 basis points, which is 0.15%. So like, honestly, nothing. That's what we saw. Honestly, nothing. And during that 24-hour period, literally 24 hours after he announced the tariffs, look at this chart. We had that day a 20% increase in mortgage applications. Now think about that for a second. Mortgage rates only came down 15 basis points. 15 basis points, not a huge drop. A tiny little drop, little smidgen of a drop. And it was only there for 24 hours during one of the scariest, most uncertain times, because we didn't know what was going to happen with the tariffs, like in the very beginning. And you telling me we had a 20% jump in mortgage applications? If that doesn't tell you how much pent-up backlog of buyers are sitting on the sideline, chomping at the bits. I mean, imagine if it would have dropped down 30 basis points and it was longer than 24 hours. Imagine if it was 40 basis points and it held that long for months. How crazy would the market get, guys? I'm trying to help you visualize the future, because that's what you have to do. If you're going to be, like number one in your market, like I was, you've got to be able to look at the market and pinpoint the opportunities and visualize a strategy to take advantage of it before it happens. I'll tell you the strategy I used back in 2008 here in just a second, when I tell you guys the 3 things you need to do right this second to take advantage of this moment. But this data doesn't lie. And guess what? There was around, I think if they said 73% of that 20% was sellers, people who already own a home. What does that mean? That means sellers are sitting on the sideline ready to buy, which means what? 2 deals. For each one of those clients, that's 2 deals. I really don't think you guys understand what we have on our hands here. Everybody, a lot of people, I'm not gonna say everybody, a lot of agents are moping right now. Like, oh, the market is like literally lining up the perfect storm. The stars are lining up. Everything is coming right into place. You got prices softening, you got inventory rising, and like everything, like months of supply is shooting up, days on the market is shooting up. This is the perfect scenario for you. You just don't realize it yet because you're not closing deals right now. Quit trying to close deals and go find situations to help people through. Okay, so that's the mortgage data that shows us how much pent-up demand is literally just laying there ready to roll. And so it comes down to interest rates. So what about interest rates? So we have the Fed meeting coming up June 18th. That's going to be the next Fed meeting, where they're going to talk about interest rates. So that's something to put on your calendar, June 18th. You got the CPI report for April, in my opinion, was great. I mean, well, like it was down a 0.2%. It was 0.2% increase for the month, resulting in a 2.3% year-over-year inflation rate. Wonderful. This is the lowest 12-month increase since February 2021. We're heading in the right direction with this. Core CPI, excluding food and energy, also increased by 0.2, with the year-over-year increase of 2.8. Hey, great. In my opinion, this is great news. We're headed in the right direction. I think we're going to see something here. Now, everybody talks about unaffordability. Okay, everybody talks about unaffordability. Look at mortgage payments going back to the 70s. Right? Let's look at 1981. Let's just take 1981, for example, $771. And then you come up here and you look at 2024, 2025, and you say, oh my gosh, it went from $271 up to $2,200. That's crazy. Guys, inflation. So if you take $771 back in 1981 and you adjust it for inflation, that's $2,417 in today's dollars. Right? And our mortgage payments, the average mortgage payment is under that right now. So do you understand that in 1981, homes were less affordable than they are right now, this isn't the most unaffordable market that we've ever seen. It's not. Just because the dollar amount of the mortgage payment, looks like it's like through the roof. Okay. Take inflation in consideration and do your own research and your own calculations to come up with the numbers. We're not in the most unaffordable market that we've ever seen. And guess what? It's going to get better because prices are softening. And then mortgage rates are going to come down to create this surge of buyers and sellers into the market. Hello. I mean, it's literally like a dream come true. This is a dream scenario. Why? Because you can't double, triple, quadruple your business without moments like this in the market. And I tell you what happens. Most agents don't think about what I'm talking about. And so they just sit there idle while the market's down. And when the market picks up, then they pick back up and start doing some stuff, but they're still kind of just like making the same amount of money. They don't see that massive jump in their income. They don't get to the 500, to the million, to the $2 million. I'm telling you right now how to do it. I'm giving you free game. Right now, when do you take advantage of an opportunity? Is it before the opportunity happens, during the opportunity, or after the opportunity? It's before, guys. You put yourself in position, and while it's happening, you completely take advantage of it. You're in position to take advantage, and then you execute once the deal happens. We don't know when the surge is coming. That's all up to mortgage rates, and we have no control. You can't predict mortgage rates. It's just unpredictable. You never know kind of how it's all going to go down, but we do know eventually it's going to happen. And when it happens, you're going to wish on everything that you did everything you could do to make sure more people who don't know you now know you, so that they call you as the surge is happening because they want to do something too. That's how you double, triple, quadruple up in a market like this. Now, let me see if I had any other data I wanted to share with you guys, and I'll get into the three things. I'll get into the three things. Let's get into the three things. Let me know in the comments. You want to get into the three things? Yeah, let's pop. Let's pop. Okay. So the first thing you got to do, well, number one, right? Why 2025 will go down as one of the best years to ever be a real estate agent is simply put that I would consider this as down as we have probably ever seen, considering our population. Like, we're down to 2009 levels. Last year, we were a 30-year low in home sales, but with a lot more people in the country, a lot more people that live here in the U.S. So in my opinion, that stands for the most down market we've ever seen, number one. And I explained earlier, when the market is down, it builds demand. And the more, the further it goes down, the longer it's down, the more demand is building. So you don't care how long it takes for mortgage rates to come down, because you know that the whole time that they're up and things are slow, demand is building, and it's building up to the point that it's going to erupt when things do. And the bigger the boom, the longer it's down, the bigger the boom. And so the way I see it is that this is going to go down as the best year to be a real estate agent if you visualize what I'm saying and you go out there and you continue to expand your brand, and more people know who you are that didn't know who you were before. Not talking to the same people, like expand your brand to the point that when this eruption happens, more people know who you are than knew who you were. And now who are they going to call? Because now they're doing deals. This is how you triple, double, quadruple up. And so that's why I believe 2025 is literally the best year to be a real estate agent if you visualize this and take advantage of it. Most agents are not. They're just going to sit idle, ride this thing out, close a couple deals, pay some bills. When it picks back up, they'll get busy again. Is that what you want? Just to be average? You just want to just click by. You just want to stay idle. You just want to just stand around. You don't want to do anything great. I've been where you are. I'm gonna go to the first I'm gonna go to the first thing here. right? The first thing you got to do, this is real stuff. The first thing you got to do if you want to take advantage of this situation is you got to be aware. You got to become aware of the truth. See, we got all these headlines and all these media and all these gurus and YouTube people, and we got agents in our ear. We got people that aren't even in the industry saying this, that, and the other. You got to block that out, and you got to be aware of the truth. What's the truth? The truth is what I'm saying right now. We're headed for one of the largest, strongest bumps in the housing market than we've ever seen in history. One of the strongest bumps. May not be the strongest bump. It may not last as long as the post-pandemic bump did. By the way, I called the post-pandemic bump. The video's still on YouTube right here. If you go back to April 2020, April 20 something, we were still locked down. And I said, when the economy opens, this video is still on YouTube, time stamped. When the economy opens, we're going to see the largest real estate surge we've ever seen in history. And I was saying the largest one we've ever seen in history. Right now, I'm saying one of the largest. Back then, I said the largest. Why? How did I know that? Because the market was down so much from the economic shutdown. I saw the pent-up demand building. And when they started printing trillions of dollars, I knew what was fixing to happen. It wasn't like a mystery to me. The first thing you got to do if you want to take advantage of what's happening is become aware of the truth. And to do that, you've got to do your own research. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to the gurus. Don't listen to the media. Do your own research and come up with your own visualization of how these things are going to play out. Back in 2008, when I got back in the business, there was foreclosures everywhere. Let me get where I can see you guys' comments. There was foreclosures everywhere. And I thought, I'm gonna be a foreclosure agent, man. Let me get some of the foreclosures. Because the foreclosure agents literally were getting handed foreclosure listings from the banks, and it was just like candy. They were just giving them to them. Here you go, here you go, here you go. And those foreclosure agents were making $40,000, $50,000 a month. And I was like, oh my gosh, let me get some of that. And so I went down the road of trying to become this foreclosure agent, and which means REOs, which means BPOs. And I did that. I went down that road, put down a lot of applications. I did a couple. I was like, man, this ain't me right here. This They literally want you to pay for all this stuff and take care of the product. I was like, no, I ain't gonna do that. And you know what I did? I did exactly what I'm telling you to do right now. I took a look at the market. This is important. I took a look at the market and I said, where's the market going to be in 3 years? Where's the market going to be in 3 years? That's what I said back in 2008. It's what you need to be saying right now. Maybe you don't want to be the number one agent in your market. Maybe you don't want to double, triple up. Maybe you don't want to make $1 million a year. That's fine. I'm not trying to push my ambition off on you. But what I am telling you is that if you do have those ambitions and you want to do something great, you want to do something big, you want to make some money so you can turn around and serve other people, then you need to listen to what I'm saying. This is how I did it. You listen to people who have done what you've done, what you want to do. I looked at the market and I said, where's the market going to be in 3 years? I said, oh, you know what happened? I realized that every time I called one of these agents that had foreclosures, they did not answer their phone. I was like, okay, I know the whole game now. I got it all wrapped up in a bow. I said, and this is after I lost everything, came back and realized that it's relationships over transactions. Now I had the whole game figured out. I said, okay, in 3 years, the foreclosures are going to go away. These foreclosure agents aren't even going to be around anymore because they're not creating any relationships with anybody that's going to be here. The banks are going to sell the foreclosures and go away. They're not going to give you listings forever. I said, they're going to go away. I said, but the people that buy the foreclosures are going to sell those foreclosures because when the foreclosures go away, prices are going to go back up. Those buyers are going to sell those foreclosures they bought for more money, upgrade to something else, and refer 5 people to me. I literally, in 2008, I visualized this happening because I became aware of the truth. I knew where the market was going. The market was going just like this. Foreclosures were going to get bought over the next 3 years. They were going to go away and prices would go up. I knew that was going to happen. Why? because it's inevitable. Just like what I'm talking about in this market is inevitable. So I said, okay, I got it. I'm going to go out there and find the buyers for the foreclosures, and I'm going to sell buyers foreclosures for a couple of years. Then they're going to turn into my listings, buy bigger properties from me, and refer 5 people to me, and I'm going to be the number 1 agent in my market. That was literally the plan that I came up with in 2008, based on where the market was and where I knew that it was going to end up, because I was aware of the truth. So this is what I'm pleading to you for. If you're watching this video, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm pleading for you to be aware of the truth of the market. Don't pay attention to the fact that you're not closing as many deals as you want to close right now, because that's not the name of the game. That doesn't matter. As long as you're closing enough deals to make it right now, and you're adding new people to your database and creating deep relationships, then you are killing it. Now, first thing you got to do is you got to become aware of the truth. So put in the comments right now, are you becoming aware of the truth? Right? Put a question in the chat. If you have a question about what I'm talking about, unless you haven't seen the podcast, you can go back and watch the rest of it. You can go back and watch the first of it. Don't ask questions if you haven't seen it. But if you've been listening the whole time and you still have a question about what's the truth, put in the comments. The second thing you got to do, once you realize and once you are aware of the actual truth, the reality, stop living in an imaginary world where nobody buys anything and the market's crumbling and it's never going to be good anymore and AI is going to take our jobs. That's not reality. Wake up. You're creating an imaginary. I'm going to tell you like this. If you think that nobody's going to buy anything from you, you made that story up in your head. If you say to yourself, people are going to want to buy from me, you also made that story up in your head. So wait a minute. Either way it goes, I'm telling myself a story. Wouldn't it be better if I told myself stories that best served me instead of stories that do not serve me? Let's live in reality, ladies and gentlemen. The first thing you have to do is become aware of the truth. The second thing you have to do is, once you become aware of the truth, you got to make a decision. You got to decide that you are going to commit to take action against the truth. Once you realize the truth, the game plan becomes real clear. And by the way, that's the entire objective of creating a goal. The entire objective of creating a goal is to clarify what your day-to-day needs to look like. It's not to hit the goal. You don't say, I want to close 100 deals this year to hit 100 deals this year. You say, I want to close 100 deals this year to put together what your day needs to look like now on a day-to-day to hit the 100 deals. You shouldn't care if you actually hit the 100 deals. Every January 1st, I woke up and I said, I don't care if I sell 100 properties this year or not. If I sold 50 properties at the end of the year and look back on December 31st and hit 50 properties, I'd be just as happy as if I hit 100. Why? Because I know I gave it my all. I wasn't tied to the results. I was tied to finding situations that I can help people through. Whatever the results are is going to be what the results are. I can't control. See, we can't control the results. You can't control how many deals you're going to close. I'm sorry, you can't. If you could, you close 100 deals every year. That's like agents trying to control their listing selling. You can't make your listing sell. You can't control your listing selling when it's going to sell. If you could, there would be no listings. Everything would sell before it hits the market. Days on the market wouldn't go up like they are. You can't control when a listing sells. You can't control how many properties you sell. Sorry. I'm sure you didn't wake up 2022 and expect interest rates to shoot up and that you would sell 20% less properties or whatever happened. Did you expect that? Did you want that? Could you control that? No. The same reason you're not going to be able to control it when the market flips the other way and pours deals into your business. You can't control it. It's just going to be like a river. It's going to be like, because you're doing the work right now to expand who you are and how many people know who you are, what you do, and you're here to help. So the first thing you got to do is become aware of the truth. The second thing you got to do is make a decision and commit to applying, taking action against the truth. What's the game plan? How are we going to execute on this? We know it's coming. Don't just sit there and be like, oh, and then it happens and you're like, oh man, I wish I would have done something about that. No, let's take care of it right now. Let's make it happen right now. The third thing you got to do, and I'm going to give you guys after this one word so you can go home with and really think about this. The third thing you got to do is be disciplined. Because what you got to do is you got to become aware of the truth. You have to make a decision to execute against the truth. And then you got to be disciplined. Why do you got to be disciplined? Because everything's hard. When you create this awesome goal and you visualize the future and you know what's going to happen and you just build your business and everything's hunky-dory, guess what? It's not going to be easy. Your day-to-day there's going to be things that happen. There's going to be disruption within your day-to-day, within your business that you weren't prepared for. That's going to catch you off guard. It's going to frustrate you. And you're going to question yourself. Why am I doing this? This is too hard. Maybe I should go do something else. No. You got to stay disciplined. You got to stay focused, even with less deals. Even if you're not closing as many deals as you want to close, you got to stay disciplined. I'm telling you right now, you can't control how many deals you close. As much as you want to believe you can, you don't. The only thing you control is how much effort you're going to put in to find situations of people in the market that need to buy and sell, and do everything you can do to make them feel comfortable enough with you to tell you what they want to do and why, so that you can help them do it. I hope this is helping you guys today. I'm glad you guys are here. I get a little fired up sometimes. Thing is, though, this is my life. This is what I live and breathe. This has been my life since I was born. This is how I was born. This is how I'm always going to be. I live and breathe this stuff. One word. Identity. Your identity. And what I mean by your identity is that you are the only you out here. There is no two real estate businesses that are like. Every single real estate business is like a fingerprint. I don't care if you got two agents in the same office making calls at the same time to the same exact subdivision. It doesn't matter, because you're going to connect with these people differently than the other agent does, and you're going to connect with some of them, and the other agent is going to connect with some of the other ones. And even if somebody wants to sell right now and you both talk to them, that person's going to pick whoever they like the most. And so it doesn't really matter. Your identity is everything. So let me go deeper with it. And I thought about this the other day. I was on a coaching call and I said this came out of my mouth. And I was like, oh, I got to write that down. Because what I was talking about, this is what I was talking about when I said it. I said, your personal brand is who you are plus what people think about you when you're not around. That's your personal brand. Who you are at really, not who you pretend to be in public or in front of people, but who you are really behind closed doors, plus what people think about you behind closed doors. And I thought, I was like, so wait a minute. Who you are when nobody's around is what people are going to think about you when you're not around. I'm going to say it again. Who you are when nobody's around is exactly what they're going to think about you when you're not around. You can't hide who you are. You can't hide who you are. And here's what you need to think about. Don't let your insecurities destroy your identity. Don't allow your insecurities about things that don't even matter destroy who you are. I talked about it last week. I believe I talked about it last week on the podcast about your expectations. If you knew that after 1,000 phone calls that you would get 5 signed listing agreements, how quickly would you make those 1,000 calls? Yesterday. Even if you're scared to death to make calls, you'd make them yesterday. Well, then it's not really your fear to make calls that's preventing you from making the calls. It's the fact that you have bad expectations that's preventing you from making the calls. Because if you had great expectations, you would make the calls yesterday. You just admitted that. And so you're allowing your insecurities to destroy who you are, to destroy your identity. And now you're not even who you are. And now you're out in public and you're not even the real person. What I try to do through my content, what I try to do on my challenges and on my trainings and in my coaching programs is I try to reveal to you the true you. I try to introduce you to your real self, who you might not have seen for a long, long time. And that's because I speak the truth. I tell you like it is. I don't hold back. Why? Because I love you. Why do you think I would come on here and do an hour-long podcast, scream at you guys about the market if I have bad intentions? I'm literally trying to help you guys realize this massive opportunity that's right in front of you. And a lot of you are letting it slip through your fingers. And the window of opportunity is ticking, because when it comes, it's going to come and go, and it's going to be here and gone. And the opportunity for you to double, triple, quadruple up is going to be vanished. It's a lot harder. I'm going to say this. It's a lot harder to triple, quadruple up your business while the market's going good. It's a lot harder than it is when the market is down and you experience that bump in the market, that natural bump in the market. I'm going to tell you this. In 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 6 years. 6 years. 2014, I sold 100 properties. That was the first year I sold 100 properties. I didn't do anything different. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Nothing different. No, 14, 7 years. Nothing different. So why did I jump from 0 in 2008 to 100 deals in 2014 if I didn't do a single thing differently? Because you can't control how many deals you're going to close. And my business exploded with the rebound of the market. I'm telling you guys all this from experience. I've been through all this stuff. It's real simple. You guys are on number one. Like you could crush the current market the way it is. Like you could crush the current market the way it is, as long as you're doing what you need to do to talk to as many people as you can, post on social media and do the weekly email. You're golden. But if you don't understand the opportunity that's right in front of you, hopefully this video helped. Cool, guys. So you're probably at this point, now you need to know how to go out there and actually execute. That's what I do on my Set More Listing Appointments Challenge. The next one starts June 9th. I'll put a link in the description, or you can go to setmorelistingappointments.com for that. And also subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing this live show every week. So I'll be right here screaming at you guys. So I hope this helped you to some capacity. I'm also on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, all the podcast channels and everything. The Ricky Carruth Show. And God bless you guys. I love you so much. We'll see you all very soon. I answer every message on Instagram. So if you have any questions or anything I could do to help you, feel free to reach out there. And with that, we'll see you guys on the next podcast. Let's go. Go sell something. Let's get it.